Hello, it's David Allen and you are watching Sporting Icons.
So Tyson Fury, who has his fight for the WBC World Heavyweight title on December the 1st in Los Angeles against Deontay Wilder, has in fact reacted to his cousin Hughie Fury and his loss to Kubrat Pulev over the weekend, which of course was for the IBF Mandatory in order to fight Anthony Joshua. Could be next or at least soon as. So anyway, Tyson Fury has said this to Hughie. Hughie, well done in the Pulev fight. You can only do your best, and at 24 years old, fighting the top level fighters in the world, it's amazing achievements. You will come back stronger and more experienced. Chin up, cuz, proud of you. So that is Tyson Fury's statement. So, yeah, I mean, certainly, he's got to be feeling bad for him, no doubt about it. And I give full props to Hughie for travelling to Bulgaria. Especially as Hughie's not the biggest puncher in the world, as in he doesn't have that knockout power. And I think to beat Kubrat Pulev, especially on his own soil, you need to well and truly dominate him to get a decision or knock him out. But, so from that point of view, I was always a little bit worried for Hughie, but big on him for actually stepping up as well. I mean, considering he took on Joseph Parker, he lost that fight. His comeback fight was against Sam Sexton, where he won the British heavyweight title, and then went straight back in again against Kubrat Pulev. So he gets a lot of props for that one. Unfortunately, he didn't perform. And a lot of that was down to maybe, when I did my post-fight review on the fight, obviously, as I'm recording it and uploading it, Peter Fury is currently being interviewed by IFL TV, where he's released the fact that Hughie received a cut above the left eye a couple of weeks before the fight, and there was talk about potentially pulling him out or postponing it at least anyway. And they were worried about a knock on it is going to open it up and all that kind of thing, and he had microsurgery on it. And ultimately that seems to be what happened when he got cut. Was it the second round? I think it was, wasn't it? Where he got a stiff jab from Kubrat Pulev and it just opened up. And from that moment on, whatever game plan he had went out of the window. He was purely in survival mode. Dare I say, probably panicking about it, that the referee was potentially going to call off the fight. And Hughie did come out in the third round and tried to put it on Pulev. But from that moment on, that was pretty much all he'd done the entire fight. He did rock Pulev at one point. I think it was in round number 8, just going by memory, where he could have, maybe should have, jumped on him. But he didn't do it for whatever reason. And of course, even when Pulev was a little bit shaky, he wasn't out of it. He was fully within his senses. But he was maybe still seeing a couple of stars. The referee stepped in and gave them both a good talking to for about 10-15 seconds, which was valuable time for Kubrat Pulev to fully recuperate. But, even regardless of all that, the cut man for Hughie did a great, great job. There was no more issues with it. In my post-fight review, I was thinking that maybe it was a case of, it was still trickling a little bit and it was bothering him. Maybe it was obscuring part of his vision or whatever it was. But the cut man did a great job, and I've heard a few people mention this. So that shouldn't have really affected him. Ultimately, it's easy to say on the outside, of course, but when you're in there, a lot of boxers say in the heat of battle, you don't worry about these kind of things. These kind of things happen. But I've always said before, and it's not a disrespect to Hughie at all. I know some people may see it as a disrespect, but I always questioned his heart, and I've been questioning that for a good year or so, ever since he fought. Oh, I forgot who it was, but he was still going through his heart condition, and the referee put a stop to the fight and awarded Hughie the victory, even though that his opponent was perfectly okay, but Hughie's face and everything was just not with it, and he kind of retreated into himself. And since that moment, I've been kind of like saying, does he really have the heart for it? If the pressure gets on him, does he have the fight in him? Like Tyson Fury, you could do whatever you like, and he will still have the self-belief that he's going to do it. Tyson Fury could probably lose 11 of the 12 rounds in the beginning and still come out in the 12th round believing he's still going to win. That's Tyson Fury's mentality. I don't think that is Hughie's mentality at all. But he is only 24 years old, and a lot of people do forget that. He's not the most eye-pleasing fighter in the world, as in his style. at times it can be enough to put a glass eye to sleep. It's not the most enjoyable one. I suppose that's fair to say. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. But I think that Hughie, he will learn from it. Of course he will. And a loss here and there, especially early on in your career while you're still young, you should always take it as, and I know it's difficult to say, but some kind of positives. You can always take positives out of it. The fact that Hughie did go outside of the comfort zone. He did actually travel. Again, that was one of my criticisms before. And where I seen it as he refused to travel, as in he didn't want to go to New Zealand. I didn't believe he was really injured at that point. So by him doing that, erases that. So he is willing to travel. And he is willing to step up. He could have just got his British title and defended it. That's what he could have done, but he went for the opportunity. He was given an opportunity for the mandatory, and he took it. Some say, arguably even, maybe a bit early. And I think I could probably agree with that. But Pulev is a quality operator. And I've been telling you guys for a long time, for those of you who have never seen Kubrat Pulev fight, he's very, very good. A lot of people talk about his jab, and that was evident in this fight. And it's not just a jab to find the range, it's a punishing jab. Okay, it can rock you. But the thing is with Kubrat Pulev, one of the bits that makes me wonder, if the pressure was put on him, how could he handle it? Because whenever Pulev throws the right hand, he can't throw the right hand singularly. He has to throw the left first. So for me, that's a bit of a weakness. But again, a lot of that could be because it's just habit, because of his kickboxing days. He was a champion kickboxer for many years before he turned into boxing. So maybe that's where that style comes from. And certainly the way he moves around the ring is like Tong Po from Kickboxer, right? That's how he fights. But Hughie, he did get done in this fight. I think heart let him down more than anything else. I mean, people can make excuses about the eye, and it's a feasible reason. It's feasible. But I think, for me, it's the heart. That's just my opinion. I mean, my opinion doesn't make it fact, of course not. But I think that his heart went in this fight. Being outside the comfort zone, being in a very hostile environment, and it was hostile. It was very, very pro Kubrat Pulev. As I said to you guys before the fight, that the Bulgarian people see Pulev as some kind of real big celebrity. He is massive over there. He really, really is. So maybe that kind of thing threw Hughie Fury off, the fact that he was not liked in that arena. He really wasn't. So maybe that affected him. Maybe it was an eye injury, did affect him, or maybe his game plan was just all wrong. Maybe he underestimated Pulev. But for me, being the younger man, he should have been the one moving around. When he fought Joseph Parker, he was permanently moving. Had he have done that with Pulev, I think Pulev may have tired out. And of course, if Hughie had thrown a few more attacks and a few more assaults, who knows what would have happened. But Kubrat Pulev was the better man on the night, and that's just how it is. But the age factor as well, as I said, with Hughie being younger, he should have been able to outperform him, outwork him. That's what he should have been able to do, but he looked terrible. His legs looked massive. His thighs looked much bigger than they ever did. His body looked like he hadn't done a single sit-up. You know, he hadn't done anything. He just looked off. He looked really, really off. And I know that Team Fury don't see, body beautiful as a way to enhance your performance. And yeah, of course they're right, but I think it does as far as stamina goes. It does as far as power goes. And he needs power. He can't just keep going through 12 rounders and expect decisions all the time, especially when you don't throw enough punches. You can't do it. And I think that he needs to get himself in the gym, pump a few weights. Seriously, pump a few weights. I'm presuming he's eating the right food. I'm presuming that he is. But I think he needs to do a lot more miles on the road, in the sense of he needs to be stamina training. He needs to be running a lot. That needs to be one of the main things that he does for... I mean, I'm not saying that his endurance is necessarily off, but I'm saying that he just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. His body doesn't look like a fighter. You know, he doesn't look like he spends time in the gym. And he does spend a lot of time in the gym. And his dad, his trainer, Peter, works him hard. But it doesn't look like it. And I don't know, I think maybe he needs to start trying to pack on a little bit of muscle here and there, reduce some body fat. And as I said, those legs just looked absolutely massive. Really did. So anyway, so Tyson Fury, he's obviously feeling a bit down for Hughie, and rightly so. You know, it's family, it's cousin, regardless of whatever issues that both sides of the fence have with each other. Maybe it's minor, maybe it's huge. Who ultimately knows the truth, right? We all have suspicions about it. But I think, yeah, I mean, he's going to be affecting that one with Hughie. Even though he did say that Kubrat Pulev is a world-class fighter and everything, even though he was kind of blasting Anthony Joshua, taking on Pulev, saying Pulev's no good, right? But suddenly now he's good because he fought Hughie. Bit contradictory, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's all about rivalry. It's all about selling papers and the headlines and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, that is Tyson Fury's statement on Hughie Fury. Where does Hughie Fury go from here? Well, he still got his British title. He didn't vacate it. Thankfully for himself, he didn't. So, for me, I think he should defend that title. Maybe try and fight Joe Joyce or fight Dave Allen or, you know, just these kind of guys for now. And then maybe look at world level if he can get past these guys, of course. Because, I mean, no disrespect to Sam Sexton. I mean, he's a good fighter, but he's not British level in my opinion. I think there's a lot more British heavyweights that are better than him. As in, I'm talking outside of Tyson, Dylan White and Anthony Joshua. For me, there's others that would beat him. But anyway, it is what it is. Drop your thoughts below. Click that thumbs up and, of course, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.